But a CNN review earlier this year found that a lot of the actions he's taken since he retook the White House aligned with the goals that were actually laid out in Project 2025. Now, its author, Paul Dans, has announced a primary challenge to longtime Trump ally and South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham.
You are a 70-year-old childless warmonger with no stake in this country's future. Our kids deserve better, and that's why I'm here. June 9th, 2026 will be Independence Day for South Carolina. We are going to retire Lindsey Graham once and for all. As my favorite president would say, Lindsey, you're fired.
Responding to Danz's challenge, Senator Graham says that he will have a, quote, spirited debate with any challengers. And when asked if he's confident that he'll keep President Trump's backing of him, Graham told CNN, quote, I don't think I know. My source tonight is South Carolina Senate candidate Paul Dans, and it's great to have you here. Obviously, you're going to be running as the underdog. Lindsey Graham has faced a bunch of challengers before. Why do you think this time will be different?
Well, this time we're going to vet Lindsey Graham. And Lindsey Graham, to be sure, has nothing to do with South Carolina values. He is all about endless war, endless spending, endless government. Back home in South Carolina, we are about God, family, and country. But Lindsey has long since detached from that. He is the epicenter of the swamp. He's the very reason that MAGA came into existence.
But when you've said before that, and you're running for this and why you're running, that he's not sufficiently loyal to Trump, I think some people might be watching and say, I don't know, I think Lindsey Graham's pretty loyal to Trump.
Well, you should just go back to this very seat, 2017. He probably came in here 10 or 15 times, always berating the president, questioning the legitimacy of the 2016 election, peddling the Russia hoax. And, you know, he tried to flip. This past Sunday, he was all ums and ahs when he was showing those clips and said, now, Lindsey, you've shed your skin and you're back to a so-called MAGA thing. The bottom line is he can't be trusted. He is a scorpion, and the president needs a new golfing buddy.
The president is already backing him. He's given him his total endorsement. He just posted a picture of them golfing, actually, the other day for Lindsey Graham's birthday, I believe. And the person who ran Trump's campaign, Chris LaCivita, is helping advise Lindsey Graham on this. We asked them for a statement about your run, and Chris LaCivita said that you parachuted yourself into the state of South Carolina in direct opposition to President Trump's longtime friend and ally in the Senate, Lindsey Graham. Like everything Paul Dans starts, this too will end prematurely. What's your response to him?
Well, look, the Graham campaign got knocked off their block today, and they're just fumbling around. That's what we call in South Carolina a bunch of foolishness. We moved there 8 years ago. We got married there 20 years ago. And, you know, what brought me to South Carolina? I fell in love with a beautiful Southern girl. I came to the state for all the right reasons. A woman, my mother-in-law, you know. We had 4 kids. Actually, this was 2 kids ago. I know it's hard for Lindsey to measure time by kids, but that's how us dads do it. And we could have lived anywhere in the United States, but we came for the family, for the values in South Carolina.
You keep bringing up the fact that he does not have children. You called him childless in your launch and said that he has no stake in the future of the United States. Yeah. I think some people might hear that and say, just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you're not invested in the future of the United States.
Well, if you're wanting to send other people's kids off to war, to send boots on the ground in Iran, you better know what you're doing to other people's families. People have spent a lifetime nurturing, raising, loving their family, and to cavalierly say, let's finish it, after you started 2 endless wars already, 3 really, and you know your Senate record is poxed with $30 trillion in debt. Each of these foreign wars not only breaks families apart, and we end up in the exact same place where we started, but it makes this.
But I think you can criticize his stance on intervention and what the United States' role is on the world stage. But saying you don't have a decision or you can't have a position on U.S. foreign policy because you don't have kids,
well, if you're,
it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows.
Well, you know, on Sunday mornings in South Carolina, we go to church. We don't come in here and talk about the next country America should bomb. But that's what Lindsey does. And look, the bill that everyone pays, why can't the younger generation get ahead? They need a piece of the rock. But this foreign adventurism, where we spend trillions of dollars abroad, that's paid by our kids, their future kids. Every month when you get your credit card statement and you're being charged 20% interest, that's because the United States government is borrowing money and crowding out private lenders. Those private lenders are charging you 20%. You'll never get ahead. This crushing inflation at the supermarket, that's Lindsey Graham. That's what he did with all this spending. He's the budget chairman.
I mean, he was a senator. I mean, he wasn't in charge. He wasn't president of the United States. He wasn't the Senate Majority Leader.
No, he was the handmaiden to Joe Biden. He was the rat who went in and made sure Joe Biden got things done. He's always been the intermediary. He loaded the judiciary with Biden's picks, and they're the very ones stopping the Trump agenda.
I think Joe Biden might push back on the idea that Lindsey Graham was.
Well, I wish he could push back. I don't know if he has the mental stability to do that.
But can I ask you? You are selling yourself and pitching yourself to voters as a huge advocate of President Trump. So you just called him your favorite president there in your launch speech. Your website has a picture of you standing next to him. What is your relationship with President Trump?
Well, I've been a Trump fan since the jump. And when I say the jump, I'm not talking about 2016. I wanted to run in 2012. Hey, I even go back to the Trump shuttle and, Studio 54. Not that I went to Studio 54, but I remember the day. My family grew up in New York. They had nothing, and they were immigrants. And people like Trump were the sign that we could get past the malaise. Ultimately, that city crumbled.
But directly, what is your relationship with him?
Well, I was one of his most effective appointees in the 2020 time frame in the first administration. I am a servant in the vineyards. That's what I do. I toil. I don't take credit for it. But everything they're doing today, to be clear, not everything, but much of that is reflected in the work that I led at Project 2025.
But do you have a personal relationship with him?
I don't know him that well. I've met him on several occasions.
And when
that was at Mar-a-Lago.
Project 2025 is a big, obviously, stamp of yours. It's something that was a point of criticism about a year ago for you, actually, and led to the separation with the Heritage Foundation where you used to work. Now, obviously, we've seen the White House actually follow a lot of it. If you win, if you run and you win this long shot, which I should note you are an underdog, do you have a version of Project 2025 that you want to enact in the Senate?
Well, he needs champions, President Trump, in the Senate. The headwaters of the swamp are the United States Senate, and he does not have, he has, to be sure, several senators that help, but not a majority that are going to do this work. And Project 2025, what we did there was we made the centerpiece to deconstruct the administrative state, and that's what his teams have been moving out on. And I'm very proud of the 1,000 people that I helped lead through the auspices of the Heritage Foundation to make sure President Trump could roll out day one, and he did it with gusto.
You're very in touch with the MAGA base with that Project 2025 and what that looked like. Obviously, we've seen this major push and criticism over how Republicans in Washington have handled the Epstein files and what that has looked like. I want you to listen to what Senator Lindsey Graham said about this the other day.
Do you think that the Jeffrey Epstein files should be released in full, Senator?
Yeah, I like what the Speaker said. I'm on board with Speaker Johnson to release as much as you can, protecting victims the best you can.
Do you agree with that?
No, they need to just release them all. At this stage, I'm an attorney, and I've been in these sort of litigations for tens of years, but at this stage, the public sent President Trump in part to a second term because of the promise of being transparent and disclosing, and his administration should just simply release the documents. Just rip the Band-Aid off and get it done with. Move on to saving the country like he is.
Do you think his administration is failing on that promise so far?
Well, there were some missteps, sure, when they rolled out the phase one and didn't have a phase two. But, they have done so many good things. You're kind of finding fault with the thing that they slipped up on, and I think they just need to move on.
It's not me. It's the MAGA base.
Agreed.
Paul Dance, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank
Great
you,
to have
Caitlin.
you. Up next here for us, Canada has just joined the United Kingdom and France in saying it will recognize